It's 8 o'clock from our studios, FlowFM 92.7, your go with a Flow radio station, Friday, the 7th of November 2025. Top of the morning to you. My name is Adeyemi, and I welcome you to the headline news this morning. It is a platform created for us to debate, discuss, and talk about big stories that will share to you at 7 o'clock on the headline news, or maybe any other that is catching your attention that you come across in the newspapers, or maybe the newspapers stand, and then there is a conversation there, and then you want to bring it on the big platform. You can do that. Please make sure that such stories are from credible sources, and we can easily verify your stories this morning. I'm not alone. I've got my colleagues in the house this morning. Good morning to you, Danielle. Good morning to you. I'm Nicholas, the in-house analyst.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the headline news analysis on FlowFM 92.7. The number to call is 0807-777-9927. Again, 0807-777-9927. You can call into the studio, or you can send a message on WhatsApp as well. The views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye, as well as any individuals who will call on the show this morning. We're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook at FlowFM 927. So get on any of these apps and get on live action happening in the studio this morning. Let's go into the news stories. The House of Representatives Committee on University Education has expressed concern over the increasing exit of teaching and non-teaching staff from Nigerian universities. This was spoken by the chairman of the committee, Representative Abubakar Falata. He raised the alarm on Thursday in Abuja after an oversight visit to some universities in the southeast, describing the situation as dangerous for the education sector. Apparently, since 2019, about 3,000 staff members have, exited the university system, whether it was through retirement, some of them had died, or through resignation, and only about 500 replacements approved so far.
Well, that in a way explains the dire state of the Nigerian universities that we have been speaking about. Now tell me, the question you ask yourself is, if things were okay, why would you have that kind of a deficit in terms of manpower? So, and we can never tire, and we will never tire of still insisting that the right things be done as far as the Nigerian universities are concerned. And this is about, it's a reminder that just a few days ago, or was it not yesterday, we were talking about ASU, not believing in the recent policy of, this emolument, so-called emolument that the federal government is giving them. But that is not the issue. The issue is that, look, if you want to have a viable academic environment that contributes meaningfully to the development of the society, you need to fund it very well, So now, as you can see, it's not even the academics that are involved. Not only the academics, we are talking of even the non-academics within who form a major, basic integral part of how the university functions in itself. So it's, the call is quite worrisome. And I think that beyond just the platitude, just talking for the sake of the optics, for the sake of having your voice heard over the airwaves and the newsprint, we need something fundamentally done in terms of investigation and making a position that will be pushed thoroughly to the executive. So that is, we've been hearing this kind of alarm for a very long time. Don't forget, we talked about exodus of doctors from to Nigeria. We spoke about that, but what we've had is just minimal responses from federal government, and what they have been giving is just piecemeal. What we are talking of something that is like what you should declare a state of emergency on. That is what we're talking about. This is not about tokenism. It is about something very, very serious, something fundamental to the growth of Nigeria.
All right. We did this deficit that we're seeing across, the ivory towers, and not just, at the ivory towers. Professionals are living in droves. Nigerians, bright Nigerians, are also leaving the country. What becomes of the fate of the universities as we still have younger generations who are priming and getting ready to go into the universities? What happens? And what do we need to do urgently, though?
You see, what you have, look, what we're having right now in terms of the quality of labor that we are churning out is symptomatic of what we are going to see later, a much more worse.
So we have a big problem in front of us, right?
It's a very big problem, because you see now, a few days ago, we went for, was it sometimes last week, I was at the University of Ilorin for, to, cover a story on a research, on, it's an agricultural-based research, to grow antibiotics. Since the world is moving away from antibiotics, so they are looking for an alternative to antibiotics, because the human system, the animal system is growing used to the use of antibiotics. So they are looking for a local based alternative. So I went there and I saw what was happening there. The quality of research that was coming, it had to come from outside. We are talking of outside people now coming to teach us how to do research, using our local alternative. So for me, within my mind, when I was looking, however salutary that was for me, my thought was that in those days when I was in the university, things like that wouldn't have happened. That if we had continued to grow at that trajectory, because I was talking of the quality of lecturers we had in those days. So where are they now? They have retired, or forcefully retired, or expurgated, or moved on to greener pastures outside Nigeria. Whereas the quality of hands we are bringing in are just job seekers. That's all. You see, it is not enough. It's just like, there was a time I was engaging a professor, a retired professor, Professor Bojua Kenyoju. I think he's a microbiology, University of Ilorin. We are talking about recruitment into the university system, and he said anytime he's on a panel, to vet, students, candidates, for employment into the university as academics, he doesn't look at whether you have a PhD or master's. What he looks at is, what did you get in your first degree? You understand? If you don't have a 2-1, what it simply shows that if you have a 2-1 in your first degree, it means that is you already have an indication that you are academically or intellectually bent. That is the direction you are going. So you see, you have a 2-2 and you went for a master's or PhD. Those are afterthoughts. Maybe because you didn't get a job where you were going, you now decide to look into the university. So he needs primarily people who are ready for the who are ready for research and academic rigors. You understand? So, while he was telling me all those, I was reflecting on it. With the quality of recruitments that you have, where you have Babasale and, your godfathers all over the places, you just get them a job and,
Let's take this call real quick. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, my name is Adeyemi.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Amsterdam.
Good morning to you, Tim Line. Please
Good
go.
morning, Nick.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning to you as well. Go ahead, please.
These university issues that we are talking this morning, I want to say that those professionals, doctors that are living here, if this same university has trained them now, the lecturers we talk of that in those days they are good. Now, you talk about research that we went to the University of Ilorin, they brought in foreign people. Yes. Even Harvard, most universities that are world class, they brought in lecturers from other sphere to come and engage in research. So it's not a new thing. But where I'm going is this. We have forgotten one thing. The youths, they should wake up now. In this same university that are produced people, we hear their news now. When the youth get up and doing, they know what to do. Instead of this advertising on here and on social media. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Timilane.
Okay, Timilane, I quite understand what you're saying, but you don't get the point I'm trying to make. You see, the kind of hunger and the kind of commitment to academia we used to have in those days are no longer there. That is what we are saying. This is not. I have a younger brother who is currently a postdoctorate, in the UK, currently as we speak. And I knew what he went through in Nigerian universities, even though he had a very fantastic record. You understand? In fact, let me even start from, why he decided to go abroad to pursue his, his thing was neuroscience.
Okay.
But the academic you had in Nigeria, and I'm talking of University of Lagos, that's a big university. The academic you have there said he had no idea of what he was talking about. You understand? They wanted him focused on something else. You understand? But he said it's neuroscience because he had a practical, experience of dealing with, mental degeneration and things like that practically. You understand? So he wanted to pursue it. So, but then, he had an opening outside and he went. And that is what happens to youth who are really keen on intellectualism, who want to go into academia in Nigeria. So that is why ASU, and like bodies have been crying that, look, this is the environment is no longer, it's not conducive for this kind of, quest. So that is the point. It's not, what you were saying, when you go to United States of America, you go to UK and all those first world countries, yes, they bring in expatriates, they cherry pick. That is, it's cherry picking. They pick what is good and bring in. That is where they have a deficit, they bring it in. Or when they have an outreach for, less developed countries, they bring those people in. You see, they can afford to do that. But you see, what we are saying is at critical areas is where we are so deficient and we are not doing anything to show up capacity in those areas. So that is what you see in all those exodus, that we're talking about.
0807-777-9927, and that's the number to call to be part of the conversation this morning. If you want to share your opinion or maybe any other story that you want us to, bring under the spotlight, so you can do that as well. 0807-777-9927. But please note that stories away from what we have this morning must be from credible sources. Let's move on to another story this time around. Let's talk about the United States Congress this time. And some lawmakers are proposing sanctions on Miyetti Allah over alleged religious persecution in Nigeria. That's the Miyetti Allah Kotai Hog, and the Miyetti, that's Magban, that's one, and then the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria. Now, the United States lawmakers are saying that they're going to penalize them. According to them, they're giving statistics that over 100, 18,000 churches have been destroyed since 2009, and 56,000 people in total have been killed in attacks across Nigeria. 56,000 of Nigerian citizens. Now, my question is,
okay.
Will this put eventually what they will likely do is place a ban on them traveling, or deny them visas, or deny their assets, or freeze their assets. So would that put a real stop to terrorism?
When Congress moves like that, a lot of things happens. But I don't want to comment on that. I think what we should look at is this. You see, Miyetti Allah, I'm going to look at it from purely economic angle. Miyetti Allah has not served its raison d'etre. That is the reason for which it has been created. It is essentially a cattle rearers association. So what you expect of an association that is looking for the well-being of that industry is to grow capacity, move on in terms of evolution. You understand? You cannot have an organization that is, we are talking of, it's almost more than 100 years. We are talking about, they have, so, and you are not talking of developing cattle rearing. And each time there are policies that wants to make you less migratory, sedentary, and more profitable, you are the number one person that will stand in the way of that thing. Now, so whether directly or indirectly, that kind of resistance is what has been fueling the killing, the so-called cattle rearers and farmers
clashes here and there.
You understand? So that is the only way I'm going to respond. Because if you respond to that, it will look like you are, attacking them on the basis of what Trump has said and the rest of them. But you see, we have to look at it from this economic angle first. What is, a situation where you now have Magban talking about issues that are essentially political, that has absolute security, for instance. Only recently was the leader released after it went ahead to form a militia. I mean, you can imagine that is what they have turned themselves into. You understand? When you see the kind of rhetorics coming from them, very incendiary, So we have to understand the context from which the United States Congress is coming from. Now, of course, there has been a lot of hullabaloo, about the propriety of staying in one country and sanctioning the other and the rest of them. But, there are so many conventions, that you can refer to that kind of excuses what America is doing. And again, America does not come in if you haven't leave the door or if you don't leave the door open for them to come in. That has always been it. Like I keep on we've been saying since this, Trump rhetoric started, that you see, at the end of the day, you consider his. Only recently, I was just looking at, was it early this morning? I saw a document. I haven't verified it, so I'm going to be vague about it. That if prominent appointment, once wrote a brief to Congress, just pointing out that the so-called genocide actually is happening. That person is a lawyer, subject of a recent appointment. So he did it in 2020. You understand? So you see, we have instances where influential people have always been the person to take Nigeria's matter, externalize Nigeria's matter, to the Congress, to the United States of America, simply because there is a failure of governance. You understand? So if governance in terms of the security have been up and doing, they have shown capacity, they have tackled the problem head on. If by now we now seeing the number of people hanging in the gallows, figuratively speaking, for acts of terrorism, regardless of what background, whether in the north, south, or southeast, or wherever, we won't be talking about. We will simply tell America, please, we are handling this. We'll have a call.
Let's take a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Shitta. I'm calling from Zongo.
Shitta from Zongo. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yes, my comment is on function of, Nayitiala things that he said Congress of United States was talking about. You see, these are the indications there is failures of governance in this country. I'm not in support of United States coming to Nigeria to come and invade us or telling us what to do. But our government should sit up to their responsibilities. You see, people from outside are talking about Metiala now. There was a particular year during the era of late Muhammadu Buhari, when a governor in Nigeria, I think the governor was saying that Fulani Eda does not have nationality, that they can come into Nigeria and go to, that they have relationship in Mali and what have you, which shows that we don't even have the censor of Fulani X-Man we have as it is in Nigeria. That is one. Number two, 1 to 200. Nigeria is not in list of cow production in the whole world. 1 to 200. I work in a company whereby we have to import our plates because the Nigeria beef is too strong. Now that we trek all the way from Katsina to Shaki, tell me the quality of the beef that kind of cow produce. We have an issue whereby statistics prove it that Nigeria cow produce around 200 liters of milk in a year, whereby Denmark, South Africa, Holland cow produce more than 13,000 liters of milk in a year. So what is their business? And nobody is trying to regulate them because of hypocrisy and our bad politics that we are doing in this country. That if I thought they are not going to vote for me. In fact, I don't know what to say again. God help us in this country. Thank you.
All right.
He has spoken to.
Thank you,
he has spoken to the heart of the matter. In fact, if time had allowed me, when the Shonga farmers came to Kwara here, when they came and they wanted to go into cattle rearing, do you know where they imported the cattle from? South Africa. So what is wrong with growing our indigenous cattle? It was because it was not viable. It was not viable. In fact, if you have to, they looked at the cost implication of, making them sedentary, the extent to which you have to groom, re-engineer their system, to make it viable. The cost is abnormal. It's so high. It will be so high. That was why they had to go for the South African thing. In those days, there used to be a cattle ranch in Obudu. What you call Obudu Cattle Ranch did not just start with the former governor, the Duke. Donald Duke. It didn't start with him. Obudu Cattle Ranch has been there from the colonial period. That is where you have cattle. It's a massive ranch. You understand? It was part of the broader Southeastern economic blueprint. That was what we used to have in Nigeria.
And
now we don't have that anymore. You understand? Don't forget, let me tell you, see, we talk of all these cattle and rest of them. There is a variety of cattle in the East that is nobody talks about that. You understand? So, is it, okay.
Got you then. Sorry. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
This is Timothy. I'm calling from Amsterdam.
Timothy from Amsterdam. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. Good morning.
God bless you.
Thank you.
And God bless your parents. You see, this military issue, this is how it should be. We should take care of the economic of this cattle something. This free grazing will not work. I was in Texas for about 11 years. And if you know Lagos very well, if you know Agege, there's a place they call Dairy Farm. That area is where Ulo was rearing cattle for us, for Western region. Up till before the military struck, we were getting free milk from there. So then we just walk there, they will give you milk. Milk, inside this small bucket that you drink there. See? This our brothers that are rearing cattle, what prevent them from ranching their cattle? It's no matter now, this free grazing will not work. You go to Abuja Airport, you see cattle on the road. You go to National Assembly in Abuja, you'll be seeing cattle. Where is it done? Argentina sold economies on cattle now. So, the go airports, as the last speaker said, and the go airports, this issue of free grazing is the one causing the problem. And I think that issue will be struck out of constitutions that this something is free grazing area. There's nothing like that. Everybody, it's business now, it's agro business. If you're into cattle rearing now, ranch your cattle. I never did it now, we saw it. Very vast land, they are this grass, that cattle fed from it, there are boreholes, there are everything. If they will drove the cattle into this side of the farm, they will graze today. For about a month, they take them away. They are dropping farm manure, those things will grow again. It's the military that kills that thing. They keep on killing them. They keep on killing totally the cattle. Generally, as you bring one bull, generally, that's why they destroy that farm.
That cattle rearing is one of the things that led to banditry, and I will explain why. It led into cattle rustling. Yeah. When Boko Haram was decimated at the tail end of 2015, the tail end of Jonathan's administration, you understand, a lot of them had to move in, they had to bring them in as militias to help them recover cattle, and some of them went into cattle rustling. You understand? With the use of their arms and the rest of them. That is what transmogrified into the menace. One of those factors that transmogrified into the huge menace we are talking about. Simply because some people did not sit down and grow their industry. Relying on, that is, in fact, I was even at a point when, I think Dambazo and a lot of people were involved in that, they brought them to a round table and they were proposing about 100 billion naira loan. To grow, to do ranching. You understand? You see, we have to go beyond politics. That is just the problem. Let us remove politics for once in a matter that concerns human lives in Nigeria. All
right.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your
My
name?
name is Latia from Ilorin.
Okay.
Could you say that again, please?
Matthew.
I said my name is Latia from Ilorin.
Okay.
Latel from Ilorin. Please go ahead with your comment.
You see, the issue on grant is about government policies. I could remember sometimes when the late President Muhammadu Buhari proposed ranching for cattle rearers. Many people kick against it. And to some, realists, that cattle ranching will be the only solution, that where the Fulani rearers will be in the same place, in a particular area that they know that this is your area, this is where you raise your cattle. Then if you now move against that place, that means you have, go against the law, that you can be sanctioned. The people kick against it that because he's a Fulani man, they want to, empower the Fulani people at the expense of the nation. Now, you can remember when this banditry started from. It started from cattle rustling. It was Fulani people that were even rustling their own colleagues, the cattle. Now, it has become a national issue that they cannot rustle cattle again. They now started banditry, kidnapping, and keep on going like that. So to me, it's a matter of government policies. When the government is serious about it, they can make a policy, they can design a plan that in the next run, in the next 10, 20 years. But for now, we don't have any foundation that, okay, in the next 5 years, we are going to out of this thing. In the next 10 years, we are getting out of this problem. Not any foundation to like, okay, let's control this issue from the happening. So to me, this problem will continue like that until one government laid a solid foundation for the future, not for now. But because the problem has already started, is on the ground, but not any foundation to like, okay, let's curtail it. In the next 1, 2, 3 years, we are out of this. We are just keep on saying we are fighting banditry, we are fighting kidnapping, insecurity, and this thing keep on going. So to me, the government needs to plan now so that we're able to get out of this thing in the nearest future. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
I have a couple of messages on WhatsApp, so let's take them. The challenge of brain drain, this is about the education conversation we had earlier. The challenge of brain drain in our society is no longer limited to the academic environment. It cuts across every sector of our national life. In fact, the situation is even more alarming in the banking industry, the media, and especially the health sectors. At the root of this mass exodus is one major issue: our standard of living. When people struggle with poor welfare conditions, inadequate remuneration, insecurity, and limited opportunities for growth, they naturally begin to seek better prospects elsewhere. The reality is simple. Once the standard of living in our country improves, many of our finest minds will have no reason to relocate. We've seen countless cases where individuals, in their desperation for greener pastures, sell properties, exhaust state savings, and make major sacrifices just to start afresh in another land. This shows the extent of frustration and hopelessness many people feel. For Nigeria to retain its best talents, we must create an environment where hard work is rewarded, where dignity is restored to labor, and where the average citizen can live a decent and fulfilling life. Another message concerning what we just talked about. The failure of governance we discussed is not isolated from foreign influence. In fact, certain geopolitical interests have played significant roles in shaping some of our internal challenges. In a recent interview I listened to, Professor Bolaji Akeyemi, a seasoned diplomat and member of the committee set up to investigate related activities, made a striking revelation. He stated that the renewed involvement of the Americans in Nigeria appears to be an attempt to clean up situations they had a hand in creating. According to him, during his privileged access to field reports, some settlers in Boko Haram affected areas claim to have seen white men arriving at midnight in helicopters to drop supplies, including food for the insurgents. While these accounts are serious and require thorough verification, they pointed the need for Nigeria to critically examine all dimensions of its security challenges, both internal and external. And on Facebook, Dr. and Mrs. Umar Olibara Fumuri is talking about the Anambra election that's happening tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
The election is a defining moment for the people of Anambra. There will be no power play, intrigues, rigging, manipulation, thuggery, violence, or do or die. Of serious concern is the way money has become a key issue. Power belongs to the people, and they should be allowed to choose their leader. We reject politics of deceit. May peace reign in Anambra.
Right. Yes, I think I will just touch on that and then conclude the analysis this morning.
In a few seconds, yeah.
2.8 million registered voters, and what do you expect? Voter apathy is a big issue in Nigeria.
Of course, it is. And it's
what's going to be different tomorrow? What's going to play out tomorrow?
Honestly, I don't see anything different. I don't see anything. There will be, I don't expect anything unusual.
No.
We're going to see those voters apathy. We'll see a lot of, delays in, logistics and the rest of them and things like that. And all manners of excuses at the end of the day. We come here and analyze, the postmortem. So, but I want to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
I think a lot of Nigerians want that as well.
Regardless of how small the figure is, I want to see keen contests. Not a situation where people are barred from voting and things like that. But, we have become used to this kind of a thing.
All right, real quick, the highlight for you this week.
Of course, it's the issue of terrorism and this genocide claim and the rest of them.
All right.
Highlight for you as well?
For me, I think it's going to be outside Nigeria. It's going to be Cameroon. Paul Biya.
Oh.
One of the oldest, in fact, the oldest, president in Africa. 92 years.
There's no highlight there. It's symptomatic of Africa.
Hold on. He's just been sworn that for the second, another term, 7 years. Come on.
All right, well, we'll pick up our conversations on Monday, God willing, from 8 o'clock to 8:30. Thank you so much for joining us on the Headline News Analysis for today. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 of the staff therein, but as expressed by in-house analyst Nicholas Uwerunonye and all the individuals who called and commented on the program. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
I am Dayo Adeyemi. Good morning.
Have a good morning.
From sunrise to midnight and beyond, one station keeps you locked in, no matter where you are. Non-stop vibes, non-stop hits. This is FlowFM 92.7.
Good morning, Ilorin. You know what time it is. Wake up with us and get your day started right.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid mornings with us, you won't want to miss it.
We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tunes that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on FlowFM is where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know we're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Ilorin. It's FlowFM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM